Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Okay, alright, so I had an experience with someone last night. They called me up and they were pretty hectic. I'm saying it mildly. So, what I want to do is I want to talk about energy healing just for a little bit here, and I want to talk about who I will work with and who I won't, and the reasons why. And it's pretty cut and dry, and I think most of you on this channel are very aware of this already. In fact, I've said it in the past. So I guess a figurehead that I would like to, I'm going to give you a comparison. So a figurehead that I would like to give you is Mary Magdalene in The Chosen, okay? Alright, so I want to start out with this here to give you an idea. So Mary Magdalene, throughout the entire movie and the scenes, she was essentially just begging and pleading and praying for a way to heal, to escape her pain, okay? So this is someone I'm willing to work with. Now, you don't have to beg me, that's not what I mean, you don't have to plead. But it's like, okay, so every now and then I'll get someone who's very angry and they yell and they scream and they're mad, and it's like, you know what, that's not the kind of people I'm going to work with. And it's not only that, but they're mad. And I guess I want to say the word entitled. So I'll get people that will call me up and they will just start talking a million miles an hour, and it's like they're very demanding. And so, okay, here's the point. Okay, so I do understand that some people, you have stress, you have anxiety, you're going through something that's really intense. I understand that and I respect that. The challenge is we've got to get you to slow down. Okay, that's the number one priority, period, end of sentence. If we can't get you to slow down, then nothing can be changed, nothing's going to be done. So a long time ago, I mean a long time ago, I'm going to say it was my early 20s, maybe even before that, I remember praying, and it was a really intense moment in my life, and I had just bowed my head all the way to the ground. I was on my knees, hands and knees on the ground, and I bowed my forehead all the way to the floor, and I was just praying and crying, and I noticed something shifted. Essentially, I calmed down, but it was more than that. Something inside me opened up, and my prayer became much, much more powerful. You know how sometimes you pray and you just don't feel it's going to work, but then every now and then you pray and something, like, you can feel it, like something shifted, like this is different, it's deeper. So whenever I go to temple, you essentially bow to the monks and before you begin to talk to them. Now, most people don't understand what the purpose is. It's not an ego trip. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's to get you out of your ego, to get you to open up, okay? Because if we can't get you to open up, the work is going to be very hard to do. So what I mean is the energy healing work, the therapeutic work, okay? And there's another reason why. So one of the things monks will do is they will meditate and chant at different times during the day. The whole goal is for them to stay open and not in that closed tip of the V, is what I call it, in your forehead. So you open that up wide open. Because when you're in that space, you can be much more aware of what people are doing on an unconscious level. This is how you become aware of people's energy and their emotions, even if it's kind of underneath their verbiage, so to speak, okay? So one of the things that I do when I work with my clients, I work on being open when I'm with them, because I can receive their energy and their messages and understand where they're at in the moment. And that's what allows me to know what to do, when, and how. The other reason is, when I'm open, I can shift people's energy a lot easier. It's really smooth, it's fast, it's much more enjoyable. So when you bow, it allows us to stay open while we're with you. Okay? So here's my overall purpose for sharing this. So every now and then I'll get people that will call me and they would just talk really fast and they feel and believe, well, I have to dump everything on this right now on this guy. He has to know my whole life story and all my hurt and pain, and therefore he can figure it out. No, that won't do it. That won't do anything. But what you're doing is Western psychology. I don't do Western psychology because it doesn't work. It won't help you to heal. So what I mean by that is a lot of therapy in the Western world, the United States, etc. It's all about, I call it talk therapy. It's where you just tell your story again and again, over and over. What we found out is by doing that, you just reinforce the story. It's like you're compounding it and strengthening it, and it's like it's digging a deeper root or getting a hold inside your system. So, number one, that won't do anything. It won't change anything. It won't heal, and it does the opposite of letting go. So the work that I do is going to be different than what most of you guys have seen or heard or maybe even experienced with a therapist. Okay, this is not Western psychology. This is Eastern healing, Eastern therapy, Eastern. It's very unconscious / subconscious. Okay, and it's really the work I do. That is a lot of what I do, but the main work that I do is on the level of energy, which is beyond the third dimension, okay? So for those of you that have anxiety, fear, stuff like that, our number one thing we're going to do is we're going to work with that. Our number one goal is to get you to do some deep breathing, to get you to calm down, to get you to slow down, to bring your awareness back inside your body so you can connect with yourself and to not only reconnect, but to become emotionally grounded, okay? This calms you down and it makes you feel a lot better. And from there, this is where we can do the magic. This is where we can do the deeper work. We can begin to shift things. We can begin to heal things. We can begin to go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, to find the root cause of what's going on. Because then that is my next goal. I have to find out what is causing this. So I'm not going to go over everything that I'm trained in, but I want to kind of give you an idea of when you come to me. It's like, look, there's no rush. I will give you plenty of time. We can do more than one session, and there's no way you can tell me every story in the first phone call or in person or however we do it, okay? So just relax, slow down. We will get to it. Now, here's the cool thing. Believe it or not, but by slowing down, by calming down, it makes the process not only smoother, but a lot faster, okay? A lot of you come in and talk fast and interrupt and tell me everything. And it's like that's just gonna extend it on for an literally. Generally, when most clients first come in, it takes them 3 days to get everything out of their system for them to be convinced that, look, I'm with you, I understand you, and I believe you. And that is another piece I want to talk about right there. Now, I've already put this in a video about a week ago or so. I don't remember when it came out. But I'm going to share it right now. So a while back, about 2-3 weeks ago, a guy came to me from Southern California. I think he was. Yeah, I think he was. So he was getting harassed really bad by a group of people, okay? And as he was explaining this to me, I had said, God, I wish I lived in the same neighborhood. And he goes, why? I go, I would literally wait outside at night to catch these people on camera, to call the cops. And he goes, wait, do you believe me? I'm like, yeah, of course I believe you. And that's the thing. A lot of you guys have tried to explain this stuff to your friends, your neighbors, your family, and they kind of think you're nuts, okay? And so you get this backlash from all these people that are like, well, are you sure it's not all in your head? Are you sure you don't need medication? Maybe you need to see a doctor. And they'll just say, I'm sorry, but I'm having a hard time believing this. This just sounds crazy. I mean, why would anyone do something like that? Okay? So when you come to me, you believe you have to convince me of this is real and this is what's going on, and I'm already with you. Now here's why. See, I've experienced narcissist abuse for a long time, personally, on a personal level, a lot of it. And so when I hear other people talking about the same issues, the same thing, it's like it's in the beginning it blew my mind. It's like, wait a minute, you went through this too? And everything you're saying matches up. So like, yeah, of course I believe you. But you have to understand the average person, they don't have these experiences. So they're like, what are you talking about? That sounds weird. In fact, a lot of you, even recently, like very recently, the last couple of days, have been saying, "Man, you're just like this is my life story." It's like you know me. Like I've had people literally, some of you, if you're listening to this, you know who I'm talking about. You've posted all my videos, it's like you know me or something. You're telling my story. This is exactly what happened to me, because narcissist abuse is a very, very consistent experience. So when people have experienced it, it's like it matches up with what's happened to you too. And when someone talks about it, you're like, yeah, like you totally understand it. Where people who haven't experienced it, they don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It sounds weird. Why would anyone do that? So I understand when you come to me that you've had those experiences. So with me, the minute you start talking about this, I will know based on the congruency. I mean, it's really obvious. Okay, so now let's shift this over to energy healing. Okay? All right, so I've been doing energy healing for 30 plus years now. I'm really good at it. It's a really weird, curvy, up and down road. Okay? It's a developmental thing. All right? So it's something that it's like you do it and you have this amazing experience, and it's like rock solid, and you're like, holy shit, that really worked, right? Like for example, the very first time I did it outside of a training center was my girlfriend at the time in my 20s was at work, and I thought, you know what, I think she said she had a headache. I forget what it was, but I said, I'm gonna do some energy healing on her, and she calls me up 5 minutes after I just finished, and she goes, hey, by chance, are you doing energy healing work on me or something? I go, why is that? She goes, I'm having this really cool feeling of like energy like coming down through my head into my body, and it feels really good. And she explained how it helped, how her mind was open and relaxed, etc. And I was like, man, I just did that. Now I'm leading up to something here. Okay, this will all kind of pull together in a second. So in the last 3 years, my energy healing abilities have just been heightened. Now, when I was 28 years old, that was when it was like the most heightened. For 6 months, it was incredible. And after that, that was kind of like a preview, where it was like a gift from God saying, hey, this is what you can do. And then at that point, it just became a matter of developing that muscle, that faith muscle, okay, to get really comfortable and be like, yeah, I've done this so many times. It's kind of like, yeah, I can make a sandwich. It's like, of course I can. Okay, and that's where I'm at now. So I'll give you one more story, and then I'm going to wrap this up with the people that I won't work with. Okay, this is really important. So my neighbor has a young daughter, and she was a very angry little kid. At least I thought she was, but it wasn't until I went up to mom and go, hey, what's going on with your kid? And she's, oh, well, she's really frustrated. And the mother didn't explain it very well. I just was thinking, like, maybe get the kid a swat on the butt. And I don't think I said that, but I think the mom was trying to explain it, but she didn't explain it very well at all until much, much later. So this little kid would never talk and would just be like, rah, just like yelling and rah, like, but really, really loud. And it just really came across as this very angry, very demanding, tiny little kid. I mean, we're talking like 3, 4, 5 years old. And I'm looking at this kid going, what in the hell is going on with you? I literally thought she had a demon in her, and I was like, oh, this kid's going to be an absolute nightmare when this kid gets older. I mean, this is not going to be a pretty sight. So somewhere down the road, the mom had found out that I basically was a coach and I did psychology and therapy stuff. And she says, can you help her? And I was like, well, and I kind of like, because I didn't want to get involved with my neighbors, is what it was on this level. And she came and asked me again a while back, and I said, well, she'll grow out of it, because, okay, so here's what she told me. She goes, my daughter can't talk, and you can tell she wants to talk so badly, but she can't, so it's frustrating for her. And I was like, oh, now I'm thinking like this. I go, isn't your daughter about 5 years old? She's like, yeah, she's going into kindergarten now. She was really, really stressed about her daughter. Now, I didn't know how open the mother was going to be to energy healing. And so I was like, how do I, because that's how I, was going to do it. And so one day I forget what she asked me. And then I took that and segued that into energy healing and opening chakras, etc., etc. And then she goes, can you help my daughter? She goes, please, I'm really worried about her. She's in kindergarten, she can't talk, and the teachers are concerned, and blah, blah, blah. And so, yes, I did. I worked with the kid. Well, I didn't actually work with her. I just told the mom, like, I think I reassured her one more time, and then I think it was the next day, I like, screw it, I'm going to do it. And if the mom freaks out, whatever. Because that's what I was afraid of. I thought, well, she may not quite understand. And so essentially all I did was I opened up the chakras and I pulled out the energy and I pulled out the blockages, is what it was. And then I cut the cords from all of that, and boom, literally, I'm not joking, the next morning when she woke up, she starts talking. Now, that was about a year ago or 9 months ago, and this little kid talks all day long. Blah, 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 blah. She is the happiest. She hasn't been mad once since she started to talk. She talks, she smiles, the biggest smile, the cutest little, and she's actually a really sweet little kid. So here's the thing. Look at Mary Magdalene. I mean, she just wanted help so badly, and this mother wanted help for her, that she was willing to ask. And on top of that, the kid was just like frustrated out of her mind. When the mom told me, like, she can't talk, she's never talked in her life, that was like, oh, okay. So this little kid was trying to talk and communicate and express herself, but she couldn't. She couldn't even talk. Now, I know it sounds funny, but basically her chakras, her forehead chakra and her throat chakra, was completely locked, okay? And so that's the kind of people I work with. It's like they want help. They want out of this jail. They want out of this pain and this suffering. So here's the people that I won't work with. First of all, I want to say something about the word redeemed. Mary Magdalene was never judged by God or by Christ. She was judged by the people. So I probably should have found a picture without this word, because she didn't need to be redeemed. She was always loved by God. And I'm going to say this in every video from now on, that God loves you, period, end of sentence. God loves you 100%, absolutely. Jesus released her from all the guilt and the judgment from the people. That's what Jesus did. That's what he did to the lady at the well, and on and on. It's like it released them from feeling horrible. So if you want to call that redeemed, that's fine. But it wasn't like God says, okay, I approve of you now. That's an egotistical mankind thing. Okay, so someone had asked recently, how do you do that cord cutting? So obviously from where I'm at now, it's very simple to me, but I think in the beginning it was a real challenge. It didn't work at first, it took a while. So explaining these techniques is not easy to just verbally explain. You have to show them, you have to teach them, etc. But I would not mind explaining this to someone over the phone more in depth, but to explain it and type it, it's not going to help. So the people that I won't work with are narcissists, period, end of sentence. I won't do it. And here's the reason why. It's not because I don't care. It's not because obviously I've been very upset with narcissists and hurt and mad and pissed. But part of it is because of that. Part of it, not so much now. I would say a year or two ago, definitely I was like, nope, not going to do it. I think The real reason, though, is because I have worked with narcissists indirectly in the past, not knowing they were narcissists, and like nothing worked. What am I trying to say? Like nothing. It's like they didn't want to do the exercises. They didn't want to go along. They did all their narcissistic stuff. It was a constant interruption. It was just like, oh my god, like spinning in fucking circles. Excuse my language, but it's ridiculous. So here's the other reason. It's like this is something that takes an open heart. And again, I mean, that's what I was saying in the very beginning. This is why you bow to the monk. It's not a submissive thing. You're not being submissive to the monk. Trust me, monks are not that damn egotistical. You must submit to my ego. No, it's to get you to open up. And that's the one thing that narcissists won't do. So the ultimate answer really is it doesn't work for you. So here's what I'm going to recommend to you. Find someone that literally specializes in demon possession and taking demons out of people. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, but isn't that what you do? Let's see. How do I say this? So, yes, I pull energy out of people. I literally pull it out. I pull connections from narcissists out of people. I cut the cord. I mean, I do all kinds of stuff. I clean energy, heal energy. I mean, let's take that little girl. Yeah, I think she did have a demon in her. There was there was something going on with that little kid. I don't know. I don't know. So here's the thing. When it's, okay, I'm going to say it this way. When God calls me to pull demons out of people, trust me, I'll know. It'll happen. So here's how I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to unfold. Okay, this is how okay, watch this, okay. So when I was 20 years old and I was going through that huge awakening for 6 months, and I was like, what the hell? You know, I think the awakening you guys are going through is different than what I went through. Because I'm also going through whatever this thing is about narcissists, like the veil and all that stuff. But back then it was like, poof, the veil completely disappeared. I saw through everything. And my energy healing abilities just boom. It's like something turned them on, like boom, and they were turned on 100%. I could do anything. So this is a good example. So again, it's a story I've said recently where my girlfriend's friend that she worked with had gotten pregnant. She was young. She was Christian. She was so worried about her mom and dad flipping out, etc. And this was very early on. So she's probably only about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks pregnant. It was like really fast that she caught it. And she wasn't married, etc. So as we were walking in the mall one day, 'cause she had taken 5 at-home tests, then she went to a clinic and got her to a doctor and got 2 tests done there, and yep, 100% pregnant. And as we were walking through the mall, or just about to walk into the mall, something just kind of came to me out of nowhere. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can help her get rid of the spirit of the baby and send it back to heaven as long as it's okay with God and with the spirit of the child. And both said yes, and boom, I did something, which I'm not going to go into right now because I did another video. I don't want this video to get too long. And boom, it's like, hey, you're not pregnant. And as we walked in, and she goes, yeah, I'm like, no, you're not pregnant anymore. She goes, no, Michael, trust me, I've been tested 7 times. I'm pregnant. I go, I'm telling you, you were, but you're not anymore. I got rid of it. I took care of it. She goes, what? I go, let's go to Walgreens. Let's get you 2 tests and do it at home, and then make another appointment with your doctor and have him test you 2 more times. I'm telling you, you are not pregnant. So, of course, she comes back about 4 or 5 days later and excited and happy. Oh, my God, I'm not pregnant anymore. And so here's my point. That came out of the blue. So if I'm working with someone down the road, it'll happen naturally. It'll come to me like that. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, now I'm supposed to do this. Then I will start announcing. But right now, if you have a demon in you, okay, because someone called me and said, oh, I've got demons in me. Well, I don't work with people that have demons in them because that means you're a narcissist, okay? Or say it the other way around. Narcissists have demons in them, or vice versa. So I don't work with people that have that issue. But you can find people. Go to YouTube and look up, let me see if I can find this one guy. Hold on. Okay, so his name is... Daniel Adam, Daniel Adams, okay? And he basically takes demons out of people. Now, I've watched a few of his videos. I think he's real. He seems real. I mean, I don't know him. I don't know him. I've never been to one of his shows. So I'm going to leave it at that. You can find people. You need to search for people who specialize in that. Right now, I'm not. So it like I said, it's probably going to come to me. I do believe it is part of my calling. It's something that's been kind of tugging at me for a while now. So when it's my time, when I'm ready, I will do it. Okay, so God, it's like there's kind of a caveat to this, though. I'm going to say it like this. If you're like Mary Magdalene or Lilith or the woman at the well, and you desperately want help and you're a good person, you have a good heart, those are the people that I work with, period, end of sentence. If you're coming at me angry and mad, looking for any little thing for me to say that you can yell at me and accuse me of something, I will not work with you, period, end of sentence. And I think that's really what I've been trying to say the whole time. So I'm going to leave it at that. So that's it, folks. I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and I will see you in the next video. God bless you all.